Once upon a time, in the wake of Alexander the Great's untimely demise, his vast empire became a battleground for power-hungry generals. Among them was Seleucus I Nicator, a formidable warrior who had served faithfully under Alexander. When the dust settled, Seleucus emerged as one of the strongest contenders, claiming a slice of the conquered territories for himself. With a vision as grand as Alexander's, Seleucus dreamt of creating an empire that bridged the gap between East and West. Thus, the Seleucid Empire was born, spanning from the shores of the Mediterranean to the distant lands of the Indus Valley. It was a realm marked by religious tolerance, efficient governance, and thriving trade routes. Yet, like all empires, the Seleucid domain faced challenges. Its vastness bred discontent and autonomy among its diverse regions, leading to fractures within the empire. The rising power of Rome further complicated matters, eventually leading to the downfall of Seleucus' legacy. But let's rewind to the beginning. After Alexander's conquest of the Persian Empire, his generals found themselves rulers of a vast expanse of land. Among them, Seleucus claimed Babylon and its surrounding territories, laying the foundation for his burgeoning empire. Seleucus' ambitions knew no bounds. He clashed with neighboring powers, including the Mauryan Empire in India, in a bid to expand his realm. Through cunning diplomacy and military prowess, he carved out an empire that stretched across Mesopotamia, Syria, and beyond. The turning point came when Seleucus intervened in the affairs of Anatolia, responding to a plea for help from the royal court of Lysimachus. This intervention not only secured Anatolia, but also solidified Seleucus' position as the preeminent ruler among Alexander's successors. However, Seleucus' ambitions ultimately led to his demise. As he prepared to invade Greece, he fell victim to assassination at the hands of a disgruntled noble. With his death, the fate of the Seleucid Empire hung in the balance, poised on the brink of both greatness and decline. As Antiochus Isoter ascended to the throne of the Seleucid Empire, he inherited not just his father's legacy, but also the formidable task of maintaining unity among the diverse territories under his rule. Embracing a policy of cultural fusion, he sought to blend Hellenistic traditions with the rich tapestry of Near Eastern cultures that preceded him. In the footsteps of the Achaemenid Persian Empire, the Seleucids adopted a system of centralized governance with decentralized administration. The emperor wielded supreme authority, advised by a council of trusted advisors. Decrees flowed from the imperial court to regional governors, known as satraps, who managed bureaucratic affairs. Meanwhile, military and policing duties were overseen by appointed generals, ensuring a delicate balance of power that deterred ambitious governors from staging rebellions. Despite these efforts, challenges to Seleucid authority arose. Provinces like Armenia and Cappadocia seized opportunities to assert their autonomy, sparking revolts against central rule. Simultaneously, the ambitious Ptolemy II of Egypt eyed Syria's lucrative trade routes, igniting conflict with the Seleucids. In a bid to strengthen his position, Antiochus Isoter confronted another threat, a Celtic invasion led by King Nicomedes of Bithynia. Employing his formidable war elephants, Antiochus achieved a decisive victory at the Battle of the Elephants, thwarting the Celtic incursion and forcing them into submission. Antiochus, like his father before him, recognized the importance of securing succession. He elevated his son, Antiochus II Theos, to co-rule, ensuring a smooth transition of power. Together, they worked tirelessly to maintain the integrity of the empire amid growing internal dissent and external pressures. However, challenges persisted. In 247 BCE, Arsaces of Parthia led a successful revolt, establishing the foundation of the Parthian Empire. Shortly after, Diadochi of Bactria followed suit, creating the Greco-Bactrian kingdom along the empire's eastern frontier. Despite the efforts of subsequent rulers like Seleucus II Callinicus and Seleucus III Cyronius, the breakaway states eluded their grasp. Compounded by economic woes and the rising influence of the Celtic mercenaries, the Seleucid Empire faced an uncertain future, its once mighty dominion slowly unraveling. As the Seleucid Empire grappled with internal dissent, a new power was emerging on the world stage. While the Seleucids held sway over vast lands and lucrative trade routes, the city-state of Carthage in North Africa commanded the seas both in commerce and military might. In 264 BCE, tensions between Carthage and Rome escalated over a dispute in Sicily, sparking the First Punic War. Despite Carthage's naval prowess, Rome emerged victorious, establishing itself as the dominant force in the Mediterranean. However, these distant conflicts held little concern for the struggling Seleucid rulers, preoccupied with preserving their crumbling empire. The decline of the Seleucids seemed inevitable until Antiochus III, son of Seleucus II Nicator, rose to power. Dubbed the Great, Antiochus embarked on a relentless campaign to restore the empire's former glory. For over 2 decades, he led his troops from the Levant to India, quelling rebellions and reclaiming lost territories. Meanwhile, Rome found itself embroiled in another conflict, the Second Punic War against Carthage. Led by the brilliant general Hannibal Barca, Carthage posed a formidable threat to Roman hegemony. However, Hannibal's ambitions were thwarted by the strategic brilliance of Roman general Scipio Africanus at the Battle of Zama in 202 BCE. Amidst these conflicts, Antiochus III sought alliances to bolster his position. Teaming up with Philip V of Macedon, he aimed to challenge Egypt's dominance in the region. However, Rome, wary of any threats to its interests, intervened, defeating Philip V and imposing harsh terms on Greece. Antiochus III, sensing Rome's growing influence, feared he would be next on their list. Encouraged by Hannibal, who had sought refuge in his court, Antiochus believed he could outmaneuver Rome. However, his ambitions led to disastrous defeats at Thermopylae and Magnesia, forcing him to accept humiliating terms dictated by Rome. Under the Treaty of Apamea, Antiochus III was compelled to cede territories, pay a hefty indemnity, and surrender hostages to Rome. Defeated and demoralized, he met his demise while on campaign in the east, a victim of his own desperation to raise funds to fulfill Rome's demands. With Antiochus III's death, the Seleucid Empire stood weakened, its dreams of greatness shattered by the relentless march of Roman power. As the Seleucid Empire grappled with the aftermath of Antiochus III's demise, his son Seleucus IV Philopator ascended the throne. Faced with the daunting task of repaying the war debt incurred by his predecessors, Seleucus focused all his efforts on this endeavor. However, his reign was cut short by assassination in 175 BCE, paving the way for his brother, Antiochus IV Epiphanes, to take the reins of power. Antiochus IV, having spent time as a hostage in Rome, possessed a keen understanding of Roman policies. Eager to assert Seleucid dominance, he launched a campaign against Egypt, seizing control of most of the country. Despite installing Ptolemy VI as a puppet ruler, tensions flared as the Ptolemaic dynasty sought to reclaim its independence. In a daring move, Antiochus IV marched for a second campaign into Egypt, only to be confronted by an aged Roman ambassador, Gaius Popilius Linas. With unwavering resolve, Linas drew a line in the sand, demanding Antiochus's compliance with Rome's wishes. Faced with the prospect of war with Rome, Antiochus reluctantly withdrew, preserving the fragile peace in Egypt. Meanwhile, in the province of Judea, tensions simmered between traditionalist Jews and those who embraced Hellenistic influences. A power struggle over the position of the high priest in Jerusalem ignited a fierce conflict. Antiochus IV, disregarding religious customs, appointed Jason, who promoted Greek customs and even erected a gymnasium within the temple precinct, much to the outrage of devout Jews. Further complicating matters, a scheming figure named Menelaus seized control of the temple, triggering outrage among traditionalists led by Judas Maccabeus. Thus, the Maccabean revolt erupted, a valiant effort to reclaim religious autonomy and rededicate the desecrated temple. Antiochus IV's heavy-handed approach sowed chaos and resentment, ultimately leading to his demise in 163 BCE. His death marked the beginning of a tumultuous period for the Seleucid Empire, as the rise of the Hasmonean dynasty in Judea and internal strife hastened its decline. As the Seleucid Empire staggered under the weight of internal strife and external threats, the grand vision of its founder, Seleucus I, faded into obscurity. Between 163 and 145 BCE, the Seleucid throne witnessed a revolving door of kings, each more concerned with securing their own power than governing wisely. Meanwhile, the coastal region of Cilicia became a haven for piracy, with the infamous Cilician pirates wreaking havoc on Mediterranean trade routes. Diadochi Tryphon, a power-hungry schemer, rose to prominence by exploiting the chaos within the Seleucid court. He supported the Cilician pirates, profiting from their slave trade, while manipulating the succession of kings to his advantage. Amidst this intrigue stood Cleopatra Thea, a figure entangled in the machinations of 5 rulers. Cleopatra's marriages served as political pawns in the deadly game of court politics. Her alliances shifted as power changed hands, with her husbands falling victim to betrayal and violence. With each successive reign, the once mighty Seleucid Empire dwindled into insignificance. By the time of Seleucus V Philometor's brief rule, the Seleucid Empire existed in name only, reduced to a mere kingdom in Syria. Rome, sensing weakness, expanded its influence in the region during the Mithridatic Wars. Tigranes the Great of Armenia seized control of Syria, incorporating it into his burgeoning empire. The Seleucid monarchy's demise was sealed when Pompey, the Roman general, turned his gaze towards Syria and Anatolia. With swift efficiency, he annexed both territories, bringing an end to the Seleucid dynasty and crushing the Cilician pirates in one fell swoop. Philip II Ptolemaeus, the last of the Seleucid kings, struggled in vain to maintain his dwindling authority. His futile efforts epitomized the decline of the Seleucid monarchy, marred by arrogance, neglect, and feudal power struggles. As the curtain fell on Seleucus I's dream of a vast and harmonious empire, the Seleucid legacy stood as a cautionary tale of grandeur undone by folly and hubris.